Hi, my name is Lindsey Lamb. I'm a soon-to-be graduating senior of Bishop McNamara High School, and I'm an ambassador in Girl Scouts. Here is a short introduction of my Girl Scout Award. My project is called MONSTER. It's an acronym for Mental, Observant, Need, Self-Care, Teach, Empathy, and Reflection. What it stands for, or the meaning, is mental, the issue or challenge that's causing stress. Observant, recognizing or being observant of your behavior and actions from what is causing you stress, sadness, frustration, etc. Need, thinking about the steps needed to take care of yourself and how to overcome the challenge you're facing in front of you. Self-care, practicing self-care methods to take care of your mental, emotional, and physical health. Teach, how can you advise others to take care of themselves, and what help or advice can you give out to them? Empathy, being empathetic with others when they are not okay, and being there for them. Reflection, reflecting in a positive mindset from things that have caused you stress, frustration, etc., and reflecting how much you can grow from the challenge you overcame. My project is a mental health and self-care podcast. There is 4 episodes to the podcast discussing topics related to mental health and self-care. The 4 topics that we'll be discussing is time management, recognizing negative talk, bottling up your feelings, and self-care and mental health days. People that are a part of each episode is Mr. Greer, who is a theology and psychology teacher at Bishop McNamara High School. He is also my project advisor for my Girl Scout project. Mrs. Yemofio, who is one of the Bishop McNamara High School senior counselors. Kendrid Briscoe, who is a soon-to-be graduating senior at Bishop McNamara High School. Anya Harris, who is another soon-to-be graduating senior at Bishop McNamara High School. And Jacke Alvarez, who is a soon-to-be graduating senior at Thurgood Marshall Academy. Before we jump right into the episode, here's a short prayer to start off with. Dear God, thank you for waking me up every day to be with my wonderful family, friends, teachers, and those that support me. I feel very grateful and blessed for everything. Thank you for giving me a heart to live, a body to express, and a mind to flow throughout. I hope to touch the hearts and minds of everyone with my Girl Scout project. I hope that they stay safe and blessed. Amen. Hi, my name is Lindsey Lamb, and welcome to the Monster Podcast. Today we'll be talking about time management, and here I have to my left is Miss Yemofio.
Hey everybody.
And to my right I have Mr. Greer.
Hey everyone.
And to start off to the topic for today, why is time management an issue for teens? How does it impact their lives, and what problems are caused by poor time management?
Love it. Let's get into it.
Great. So I really like sort of looking at this and looking at high school students when it comes to time management. I would say one of the big challenges that students typically have when it comes to time management is not being able to recognize when to start planning their time. I think a lot of students end up thinking, oh, I can get to this later on. I'll get this done. I'll get to it. And then like, oh, maybe I should plan this out. And by that point, they're already finding themselves behind. So I think one of the big challenges for time management is just learning when should I start.
That's good. To your point also, Mr. Greer, I think that a lot of teenagers may think that time management is something that you do when you're an adult, like when you're like 23 years old, 25 or 30, like that's a mature thing. That's an adult thing to do when you have kids and you have a job. That's time management. But wait a minute, it's never too early to start managing your time. And so I know that procrastination is a big thing, and some students are not even aware that they are, procrastinating, or they're not even aware that they're wasting time. Basically the same thing as procrastination. So I think that we can bring this to the forefront of time management. What does it even look like? And promote it in a very attractive way then maybe more teenagers will be open and more aware that they need to manage their time better.
I would say for me, when starting off time management, it wasn't easy, but over time, working on those skills of time management, it improved my life a lot to be better and be more scheduled and being open to things of what can I do this in this hour, or rearranging plans and stuff. But problems I would say that are caused by like lack of time management is a lot of procrastination and making up excuses and not holding yourself accountable is a very big thing. So I would say to move right into the next topic, looking at your own time management skills and what you need to improve on.
I think that's a great point, Lindsay. When it comes to trying to deal with time management, right, it's trying to figure out like what's getting in the way of me managing my time, right? So there's so many things that I think teenagers are dealing with right now that really make this a challenge, right? There's social media and being able to sort of balance how much time can I spend doing things on my profile, watching TikToks, checking in on my friends. That becomes a real challenge. And studies continue to show that most people don't realize how much time they actually spend on social media. Like, it's really easy to get lost and think, oh, I'm only on my phone for a little bit of time, rather than finding out later that you've been on your phone for hours in the day. So I think one of those areas that is certainly a challenge is coming to recognize how much time you actually spend doing things. I know as a coach in the building, with my athletes, we have practice for 2.5 hours. Because I'm always reminding them, they have to get ready for practice. They have to get all of their stuff together. That's an extra 15, 20 minutes before practice. After practice, they have to get everything put away. They put things back in the locker room. That's an extra 15 to 20 minutes. Now we're talking about 3 hours of time. And that's not even dealing with transportation, right? They have to get home. So now we're looking at 3.5 hours of time spent related to practice. Mm-hmm. Let alone if they want to watch film or do things for recruiting. Again, the time starts to add up quickly. And when we don't account for that time, whether it's social media, whether it's athletics, whether it's our homework, I think it can become an even bigger challenge. So to your question, like how do we start to figure out our time management? I think it starts by figuring out how much time we spend doing different things.
Absolutely. And I think I want to thank you for being a leader and bringing this topic to the forefront. So can you give us a little bit more background about how you came to talk about this subject on the podcast?
Well, I came to talking about this subject on the podcast because it's one of the things that I found myself struggling with back in junior year during the pandemic, and the idea of me wanting to manage my time versus stuff I need to do and stuff I want to do. And I also found that bringing more awareness to this topic is really important because a lot of teens do struggle with this and not end up managing their time wisely because procrastination or making up excuses. So I feel like if I can help others and bring awareness about this, maybe it can encourage them or advise on what they can do to work on their skills for time management.
Absolutely. And I want you to toot your own horn, right? Because look at this amazing Girl Scout uniform you have on. Can you give us some background about just the Girl Scout Award and getting more into the acronym of what we will be discussing in the next few podcasts?
Okay, so basically the Monster title acronym stands for Mental, Observant, Need, Self-Care, Teach, Empathy, and Reflection. And I thought of this acronym because those are things that I found that stand out to when it comes to mental health and self-care, and also steps that anyone or I myself can take to taking care of myself and, bettering myself in my life and how I become better and stuff. But I thought of this mental health podcast because I, for one, care about mental health a lot and also want to help others in a way that's kind of unique because I never thought this could be possible, but here we are now. So it's really great to be able to do this project and everything. And I hope everything works out in the end.
It definitely will. I mean, you've been thinking of this for months, so I'm happy and proud of you, that this is finally coming into fruition. I know this will help so many people, teenagers, parents, teachers, and the like.
So that's, Lindsey, one of the things that I really like about this project is it gives you an opportunity to sort of share your journey and your experience. And so as we're thinking about time management, you've had a lot going on over the course of this year, right? This is your senior year of high school. You've been working on this Gold Award. You're an active artist. You love the idea of bringing stories to life. Right, that's a big part of who you are. So how do you find time to do all these different things, right? We talk about time management. Well, share a little bit how you go about creating that time.
How I go about creating time for the things that I want to do is by first I will start off thinking of the things that I need to do. So like homework, school, Girl Scouts, and then after that, think of like when is homework due, like specific homework, and planning like for an hour, just an hour, no more, no less, because I don't want to be able to spend a lot of time doing homework the whole day. It's too much. So I plan time for that, and then plan around that time for stuff that I want to do. So like playing my instrument or drawing, I plan around that time. But if something were to come up, then I would put that on hold, work on whatever comes up, and then go back.
So it sounds like flexibility is also an important part of time management for you.
Yes.
Being able to look at what it is that you have to get done, scheduling your want-tos around that, the things that you enjoy, and then being flexible if something comes up, if something happens, if you need to make a change in that schedule. I think that's really important. I think a lot of time we create ourselves a schedule and then we become very rigid and like, oh, I have to do this, I have to get this done now. But being flexible and saying, okay, I'm going to shift my want-to a little bit later so I can get my homework done or I can get this chore around the house done. It is a really valuable way to look at it.
I would also say it's really important to be flexible because at the time when starting off time management, I wasn't being flexible with my time and trying to do everything all at once and planning too much in one day. But over time, after I learned it's okay to be flexible and stuff happens, it got easier for me to plan stuff. And I would say learning to be more flexible with time and people is a really good trait or skill to build on for time management.
You brought up a good point about being flexible with people as well, because you got to communicate. It's not just you in this world. You have parents, teachers, Girl Scout leaders, just a lot of people that are involved in your day-to-day success. And can you give us an example of maybe a time that you realized you had a lot going on and you had to reschedule something? Like, who did you communicate with? How did that work?
So,
maybe something in band or Girl Scouts.
I guess one example would be when it came to planning for this project and back in the winter and fall, I had to make time for planning this stuff and working on my proposal and everything instead of always putting homework first. I mean, get homework done, but basically making time for planning for this project. I would say that was like an important thing to do at the time. So
did you have to advocate for yourself for more time or communicate where you were in the process with anyone?
Yes, I had to communicate a lot with my Girl Scout leader and Mr. Greer about my project, because another thing that comes to time management and flexibility with people is you really have to communicate a lot, because if you don't communicate, nobody's going to know what you're thinking or what you're planning to do. So I would also say communication is key when it comes to time management and working on those skills.
I definitely agree. Well, what are some other strategies you want to share? We definitely have some notes here. Is there anything that you wanted to highlight as far as strategies that have worked for you?
So strategies that have worked for me for the past few months, I've been using this app called Structured, and it's basically a calendar task app, and you can add your tasks for the day or what you're doing for different days in the month or another month, and it's really good. It's been helping me a lot, actually. So I would say having a schedule or calendar to organize your days really helps a lot. Another one.
Quick plug, check out the resources at the end to find out more information about that app. Go ahead.
So another thing that really helps out is taking pictures of important reminders or notes from class or homework or wherever you go. I would say that's helped me a lot because whenever I take a picture of something that's really important, I will always come back to my photos to look at it and then either write it down somewhere or add it to my schedule or just keep it in my photos just so that I don't lose it.
I know for me, Lindsay, that really comes into play when I start using my Google Calendar. I love my Google Calendar because I can go ahead and add in all of the important dates that I have. And so when I open up my email, I have Google Calendar there. I can flip over and use the tasks list, and I can create lists of all of my to-dos. So right now I'm working on a summer lacrosse program. So I have a to-do list under my tasks of about 8 different things that I need to try to get done. And that way I can just go through, check those off. And there's always that great feeling when you check something off of a list.
Yes.
And on Google it just disappears. And so all of a sudden your list just gets shorter. And so mentally I know that helps me to feel a little bit more past success as I go.
It does feel accomplishing or just it's a good feeling when you complete a task and you're ready or you're in a motivated, productive mood, ready to get on to the next one. So I definitely agree with that. It does help a lot.
Well, to Mr. Greer's point also about just reminders, we have to be honest with ourselves, right? And we have to be aware, again, that awareness comes into play where we might realize we have some patterns of forgetfulness. And we have to say, look, I need to make a change. I can't remember all these things. So whether it's putting it in your task in Google or sending an email to yourself or making notes in your notes section of your phone or putting sticky notes somewhere, you are being accountable to yourself for managing everything that goes on in your day-to-day life. And so that's something that I've had to do as well. I tend to send myself emails. Everybody is different. So it's at the top. I could be in my bed at 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh, do this tomorrow at school, or whether it's a grocery list or something. So I think just being aware and being honest with yourself that you need help. Okay, we're not perfect, and you can improve and you can get more out of life when you manage your time and when you remind yourself you have to do things.
For me, I will also say, back to when starting out time management, there would be moments where I would put myself down or be too hard on myself because I wasn't holding myself accountable when it came to completing tasks I wanted to do or needed to do. And then it ended up making me procrastinate more and not motivated to continue going. So I would definitely say hold yourself accountable and be honest, because at the end of the day, it's you look back at everything and all you can do is keep moving forward and do better next time and not what is it?
So you don't want to dwell on those failures because that makes it even harder to become productive. And then you start thinking, well, I didn't get it done yesterday, so not even worth doing it today. But the reality is, and I think you spoke to this before, once you find a success, you tend to build on that. And so if you're not successful today, then tomorrow's a new opportunity to find success in that time management. And if you find that success, it tends to snowball.
And also realize that it's okay. You're not gonna like figure out time management in one day, because that's another thing I had to learn. Like, I was so fixated on I need to manage my time, or I need to get this and that done, and blah blah blah. And it's like, I'm not perfect, and I can't keep putting myself down because I'm not doing this or that. And like, I can do this. Right now, it's just going to take a while to figure out, and that's okay. So I will also say, keep your chin up and just keep going. Like, you can do this. Like, you can figure this out. All it really does is just take time.
Yeah, Lindsey, you have found success over the years. You hinted at it a little bit. You've learned how to manage your time better. If somebody is struggling and they have so much on their plate, or they don't know where to start, how do you know which task to do first?
What I know what task to do first is do the one that's closest to almost being due. So if you get maybe just get the main task that's like important. So let's say I had like 2 assignments. One was due at a later date, and one was due at a closer date. I would do the one at a closer date, and then plan time on when I can do the one for the later date. It's not doing the later date, and then when it gets to the closer date one, I'm rushing, and it's not as good as I want it to be, or it's not even done. It's like you're rushing, you're procrastinating, and you don't want to do that, because you're being overwhelmed, you're making yourself stressed, and you're trying to type fast or work fast, and it's not going to work.
Good stuff. So you mentioned earlier about forgiving yourself, not being so hard on yourself. Is there anything else that you normally do for self-care when it comes to just prioritizing your life?
For self-care, mainly take breaks. I really found that to be helpful over the course of time, when realizing I really need to stop being so hard on myself when it comes to getting stuff done. And also keeping my mindset at a low when it comes to, like, you're going to get this done, you don't need to panic, like, everything's going to be okay in the end. And even, like, with having that mindset, it helps a lot. Like, I haven't really been stressed or anything for, like, really good past few months. So it's like, it's been really good. And I like this new me, or how I've come to be in the end with everything that I've worked on. So
what's the Lindsey Lamb go-to? Right, you've been working, you've got all of these things in front of you. What's your go-to to relax? How do you take a break?
Not looking at my computer screen.
All right. Say that. So getting away from the computer screen.
Yes. Taking a nap. Naps are really good. Rest your energy, rest your brain, rest your body. Get that sleep that you missed out on from staying up late. Like, taking naps, that's a good energizer, or building back up energy for you to have.
There it is, the Lindsey Lamb go-to. Nap. I like it. No, that's a good one. It's important to be able to sort of refresh yourself and let your brain, like you said, get away from the computer screen. We spend a lot of time looking at screens, and so I think that's great to be able to get away from it.
I'll also say stay hydrated, because juices and sodas are good, but water is the number one go-to for me always. Like, you always want to stay hydrated, especially when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed. You gotta make sure you stay hydrated so you don't, like, panic too much, or
As I say, it gets sluggish, right?
Yeah.
As I say, drinking all of that sugar, you're gonna get really sluggish, and then it becomes really hard to stay focused, and to stay on task. So
right,
it's great.
Another thing I would do is listen to music, and even sometimes, sing a little. I got some tunes. I got that.
It's not
snap. hear you, Lindsay.
not like that, but I get into music, whether band music or any type of music I like, and then just having a little dance party with myself, being weird, It's being myself.
Just sounds like you're accepting yourself for your weirdness or quirkiness. That is huge. No, that is huge to just be able to admit that, because I'm quirky too, and maybe Mr. Greer is as well.
Probably
so,
just a little
bit.
He hides it, but I feel like he's getting it out of his comfort zone a little bit around me, and I
just loving and accepting yourself for who you are. That is a lot, because other people will love you for who you are as well. It's better to be loved and liked and appreciated for who you are than who you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely do that. Dance, sing, whatever you want to, whatever you need to do to just enjoy life or just decompress. It sounds like you're doing that. Keep it up.
Thank you.
So, Lindsay, I think one of the things as we talk about this idea of time management and self-care, it's really easy to talk about, but I think it's a lot harder to put into action.
Mm-hmm.
And as a teenager, you get to interact with a lot of your peers, who I'm sure all have different time management strategies and different time management failures. So as a friend, and as a support for your friends, how do you help to teach them or to sort of share strategies that they might be able to implement in their own lives?
First, what I would do is offer help, because if you're really struggling, ask for help. Like, reach out. That's one of the main things you really need to do. Don't try to take everything on by yourself, because then you get more tasks and then you get more stress, and it's not a good time. It's not going to be a good time. So I would say ask for help. People are here for you. You have people that love you. You are supported. So reach out for help. And there's help out there needed for you. So also realize that you're not alone, and that this process or journey that you're going through, or many journeys that you go through, you'll still have people along the way to be here for you and give you advice or to cheer you up. So I would just reach out, really reach out. Because it can really help in the long run with being more open about who you are and just who you are and the stuff you do and everything.
Well, to your point, the longer I live, the more I realize everybody has struggles. Even if on the surface it seems like they have it all together, we may not be able to pinpoint exactly what it is, but no one's life is peaches and rainbows. So something that I've done with my counseling team is I recommended a book for us all to read, which is called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. And they may be able to find a few nuggets in that book of something that they can relate to. So there are a few strategies for time management. There are a few strategies for communicating what you need from others, what you need from yourself. So sometimes we just may not know exactly what someone is struggling with, but if we can provide them a resource, again, shameless plug for the resources section, and maybe you'll find something also that relates to you and what you're going through.
Yeah, so I really appreciate, as we talk about this, Lindsay, I have a 10-year-old daughter who's also a Girl Scout. And so when we think about like these different ideas of time management, I spend a lot of time working with high schoolers as a teacher and a coach. But I also have this 10-year-old, and she is getting ready to start middle school next year. Whole new thing, right? And trying to balance Girl Scouts and sports and tasks around the house and getting a little more responsibility. So as I go to sit down with my 10-year-old, I want to know what you would have said to your 10-year-old self about time management. What should I take home to her?
What you should take home to her?
Yeah, what am I taking home as we go through this conversation? What should I go home and say, hey, Katie, here's what you should know. Here's the wisdom coming from Lindsey. As she looks back to her 10-year-old self, right, getting ready to go to middle school, 11, 12. What should we know?
Mm-hmm.
How can we work on this?
I would say, what is it? I had it went away. Do not try to take everything upon yourself that you feel like you should do. You are still a kid. You're 10 years old, going to middle school. Enjoy your life. And you still got it many ways ahead of you. You don't need to, be so hard on yourself and try to do everything all at once by yourself. You have your parents and brother, right?
Yep.
And brother and grandma and grandpa, all the family members you ever have. They love you very much. You are supported, so you're definitely not alone. But also remember to reach out to your mom and dad or anyone whenever you are feeling alone or down, or if you need help. I will feel like that's the main important thing, reaching out to the parents.
Awesome. Great.
Good job, Lindsey. That is awesome. So just wondering, can you just kind of take us back, just kind of in wrapping us up a little? We're not finished yet, but just thinking about, reflecting on where you were, where you are, and where you want to be regarding your time management.
Where I was, I wasn't at my lowest, but it wasn't a good time for the way I was managing my time. What's the next one?
Yeah, so it was where you were and where you are currently and where you want to be.
Take us back to junior year, Lindsey.
So junior Lindsey wanted to manage her time a lot because she really was passionate about the things she wanted to do, but wanted to get the stuff that she needed to do, so like school and Girl Scouts. Mm-hmm. She wanted to manage that time so that way she doesn't feel like she's not passionate about what she loves or what she wanted to aspire to be in the future. And so when she started off, it wasn't a great start, or it started off good actually, but here and there it will be moments where it wasn't good and she wasn't feeling motivated to continue going. So after trials and errors and continue going, over time she learned lessons about time management and how to be better. It helped her grow more as a person. It helped her grow in her skills for time management. And it also helped her grow into where she is today.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this is where I want to be. I'm able to hold myself accountable. I'm able to have flexibility. I'm able to keep my mind at a great mindset, actually. Mm-hmm. Keep my stress down a lot. And honestly, I still want to continue growing to becoming better, of course. Never stop doing that. Or that's just a part of life, actually. But this is where I want to be. And this is a great me. And I'm really proud of just looking back at everything. And here I am, project. Mm-hmm. I had to manage my time a lot in the past few months with doing this project at school and senior stuff. And it's been really great. It's been a really long journey that I've been waiting for, and it feels accomplishing. That's a word, right?
You feel a sense of accomplishment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just looking back and I did that, and now I'm here, and I know when I look back at this when I'm older, I'm going to feel even more proud of myself. Mm-hmm. That I'm this one person that did this,
Right. Well said. I'm glad that you're sharing your journey too. So I'm sure other people can connect, sharing what what was challenging for you and your successes as well. Mm-hmm. So definitely keep sharing. You just may never know how many people's lives that you are touching.
This is another thing that when thinking of, or when being interested in this Go to Word project for Girl Scouts and thinking of ideas of what I wanted to do, I had a lot of ideas, but mental health and self-care really stuck out to me because it's something that I'm really a part of throughout my life so far, and I really wanted to help others in this topic, but also to inspire and give out advice and not just say, do this, do that, and you're okay. Like, no, like this is like a real conversation about it, and I hope to inspire those whoever watched this podcast that you take some insight and you can help yourself to become better, you know?
Absolutely.
And so one of the ways that you're able to do that is to sort of take and reflect on these questions yourself as well. Where are you right now when it comes to your time management skills? Right? What are you really proud of? What successes do you have in time management? And what are some areas that you're looking to grow? This is a great opportunity to take some time, journal, write down your thoughts. Write down where you want to be with time management. And think about some of the different experiences that Lindsey shared, some of the different ideas that we offered, and check out those resources because those are all going to be different opportunities that are there for you to help you work on your time management. As Lindsey said, this is an opportunity for continued growth. This is not an end point, but rather a starting point. So take some time, look at those places where you can grow, look at those areas where you're successful, and continue those as you move forward.
Couldn't have said it better myself, y'all.
All right, thank you everyone. It's been a pleasure talking about this topic. I hope you gather your thoughts and gather a lot of insight from this. I'd like to thank Miss Yemofio for helping me with this project. It's really been a pleasure having you a part of my team and be able to do this whole podcast idea. I thought it would be really cool to do this in the beginning, so I'm glad you're a part of it.
Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you, Mr. Greer, for always being my project advisor and being the way, or leading the way.
No problem. I just follow. You're the lead.
Or I know I'm the leader, but you know.
But it's been a blast working with you, and I'm looking forward to our next couple of episodes.
Yes. So in our next episode, we will be discussing how to recognize your own negative thoughts and replacing them with positive thoughts. Yeah.
So we're excited to see you in our next episode.
Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. If you or someone you know may be struggling with self-harm or suicidal thoughts, you can call the U.S. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 8255. Again, that number is 1-800-273-TALK. 8255. Anytime, day or night. Or you can reach out via text to the crisis text line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for confidential support via text message for any person in crisis when you text HOME, HOME, to 741-741. Again, that's HOME, HOME, to 741-741.